Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Tefera. I'm the Director of Wycliffe Ethiopia. We do Bible translation for ethnic minorities. I've been involved in Bible translation for many years now. Yeah, when it comes to generosity, I think the source and the author of generosity is God Himself. I would start with that. To be generous, or if we think of generosity, we always should think how generous God is. Think of the air that you are breathing. Think of the forest that's giving you oxygen. Think of the whole universe coordinated to serve you. You have no contribution. You are the guest. God is hosting you. He is the host. He created out of generosity. He gave it to you. Even you don't think for a minute when you breathe, take oxygen. Have you ever thought of or calculated anything about that? No, none of us. We just sleep and we take it for granted that there is oxygen. That's how generosity is. It's abundance. It's not on calculation. It's not on multiplication. It's not on subtraction. Just name it. There is no maths in generosity. It is a free gift and it's embedded in Him. I mean, you cannot really separate God and generosity. Generosity is the whole character of God. So if we should take an example, it's not really out of your richness or out of your poverty. Generosity applies for the rich and also for the poor. It is something that is in us, that grows in us. And I think you cannot educate yourself to be generous. That's my thought. You can educate yourself to be a giver. You can give. You can learn how to give. And in giving, there is always a calculation. There is a maths in giving. In generosity, it's zero. You just be generous. Generosity is not in terms of money. It is also in terms of action. Like you can be generous in even giving a big hug or a big laughter. You give a good face. You're so generous for that. There are many things that we can talk about generosity. I have seen generosity. Actually, I can say I myself, I am the result of generosity. My grandmother, who is very generous, who is very old, in her old age, she labored, she worked day and night, and she raised me. You see? So I know in life what her generosity is. She's not rich. I've got a lot of friends who grew up in the same way. I can tell you, by the way, Africa is a very generous continent. Out of their poverty, they give you a big love, they give you a big hug, they embrace you, they welcome you. You can go to any African homes and then you will see a true generosity. Again, it's not whether you have or not. It is all about your general character, I would say. Yes, and the whole life of mine tells you a true generosity. Yeah, and that generosity, goes and spreads out from me. I think I'm generous. Yes, I think in ministry, again, every step of your life has to be tuned with generosity. You cannot do ministry without generosity. So let's say part of generosity is to visit and look into those ethnic minorities that are forgotten by the rich, forgotten by the government, forgotten by every system in each country. So a heart that has a generous heart goes and search for those who are in need and try to pour the life and try to help. Not only helping, but also we receive generosity from them. It's not a one side actually when it comes to practical life. If you're generous, be humble so that others can also show your generosity in your life. So in Wycliffe Ethiopia, that's what we see. Yes, 2 Corinthians chapter 8 from verse 1 to 5. You know, the people, the church of Macedonia, actually they gave. It's not out of their capability. It goes deeper than that. They are poor, but they gave with full heart. No expectation. See, generosity is always without expectation. It is like a natural flow. So a very practical example is that I've worked with people who are in refugee camps, being persecuted from their homeland. And also I've worked with people who are in their own country, but underground, being persecuted by their government. And I've met some of those persecuted refugees in the United States, in Europe. I literally cry every time that I meet them. They are not, probably most of them are not like a professional people. They are maybe working in the factories, at the airport cleaning, and doing all sorts of things, day and night, hard-working people. And when they give, it's a miracle. It's not only when they give, actually, when they invite you to their homes, it's a miracle. And I see a true generosity through these people, especially with Eritreans, with Ethiopians. Sometimes we see the act of generosity beyond our expectation. By the way, generosity always transcends expectations. I think we say we're Christians. That means followers of Christ. There is no boundary in that. Our life, our actions, our fellowship, or even our homes needs to reflect that we follow Christ. Again, I cannot command you to be generous. It's not a commandment. I'll just refer you to Christ and God Himself, who is generous, and just pray that let us be generous like Christ, who gave Himself till days, no? And then also, let's learn from our God, our Father. So it's not really even, we cannot put it in a continent, because we have the same standard, we have the same manual, the Bible that we read, and we have the same king, whether it's in the United States or in Africa. The king of Africa is the king of the United States. So let's learn from him. Let us be generous. And again, there is no calculation or maths in generosity. Be generous, and may the Lord help us to be generous. I must tell you that I am really privileged. I've never thought of to be partner with Our Daily Bread, because I remember reading, even in high school, Our Daily Bread devotional books and materials, and I was so excited, by the way. I really look forward to work with Our Daily Bread and then bring this. Actually, the ministry of Our Daily Bread is a good example of generosity. We have never paid a penny to get those devotional materials. They are so powerful. You just ask the military, go in and ask these persecuted churches, and then everyone knows about Our Daily Bread. And then ask them, how much did they pay? Zero. But someone invested, someone gave their hearts to it. So we want to see us and Africa in general being, adopting this generosity, learning from the generosity of our daily bread, and we really look forward to strengthen our partners, because this partnership, I can tell even from day one, it's not like a give and take. It is just a God mind, it's a God kingdom mindset that we are invited into. So we are so happy and blessed to be part of our daily bread ministry. Thank you.